Is Volodymyr Zelenskyy taking his biggest gamble yet just days after Russia's Oreshnik missile strikes? Europe's largest nuclear power plant comes under attack as Moscow accuses Ukraine of escalating the conflict. A drone reportedly struck a turbine hall and tore a hole in a wall, with Russia blaming Kyiv for the incident. Kyiv rejects the allegations and denies responsibility after Moscow describes the strike as a deliberate attack. Is the Russia-Ukraine war once again moving dangerously close to a potential nuclear disaster scenario? Russia accused Ukraine of targeting Europe's largest nuclear plant in a drone strike reported on May 30th, according to Russian officials. Russia's state nuclear company Rosatom said a drone struck the turbine hall of Unit 6 at the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant. Rosatom chief described the incident as a deliberate attack on the nuclear facility, according to a Reuters report. Alexei Lukashev said Russia had repeatedly warned about threats to the safety and security of the Zaporizhzhia facility. Russia said the drone detonated after impact, tearing a hole in the wall of the turbine hall building. As per Moscow, the explosion caused no damage to primary nuclear systems or power generation equipment at the site. The Global Atomic Watchdog's chief expressed concern following reports of the alleged attack on the facility. Rafael Grossi warned that attacking nuclear sites is like playing with fire, according to the IAEA. Ukraine's military rejected the allegation, calling it yet another propaganda ploy by Moscow. Kyiv said Ukrainian forces did not strike Power Unit No. 6 or any other part of the nuclear plant. Ukraine military said, and I quote, "Ukrainian servicemen act strictly within the international humanitarian law and are fully aware of the consequences of any actions targeting nuclear facilities. At the relevant section of the front line, there was no active fighting during the incident, and no weapons were used." Unquote. Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Plant has remained under Russian control since its capture by Russian forces in March 2022. The facility lies close to the front line in Ukraine's southeastern Zaporizhzhia region, where fighting continues. The plant has repeatedly been caught in the war's crossfire, sparking international nuclear safety concerns. Both sides have frequently accused each other of endangering the site during the more than 4-year war. Earlier, Russia avenged the deaths of 21 people, including students, in a Ukrainian attack on a college. Just hours after Ukraine publicly warned of a looming Oreshnik attack, Russia launched a major missile and drone barrage overnight on May 23 to 24, making good on its threats. Monitoring groups said that more than 50 Russian missiles and over 700 drones were directed at Ukraine. At least one person was killed and 24 others were injured in the Russian attack, officials said. A second wave of strikes began around 3 a.m., with air raid sirens wailing across multiple regions as people scrambled for shelters. Explosions were also reported in the cities of Cherkasy, Kropivnitsky, and Khmelnytsky, indicating a broad, countrywide targeting pattern. Russian media outlets themselves reported that Oreshnik ballistic missiles were used, directly echoing the very warning Zelensky had issued a day earlier. Meanwhile, a separate Russian drone attack struck a funeral procession near Sumy, killing at least one person in an especially grim incident. On May 23, Zelensky had warned Ukrainians that Russia might soon strike using Oreshnik missiles, urging the public to take air raid alerts seriously. He said this warning was based on intelligence shared between Ukrainian services and their American and European partners, underscoring the seriousness of the threat. Zelensky also claimed Moscow might be preparing a combined strike that would use multiple weapon types simultaneously to overwhelm defenses. He specifically mentioned that the Oreshnik intermediate-range missile could be one of the key weapons used in such a combined barrage. Zelensky said, and I quote, "Our intelligence services reported receiving data, including from American and European partners, about Russia preparing a strike with the Oreshnik missile. We are verifying this information. We are seeing signs of preparation for a combined strike on Ukrainian territory, including Kyiv, involving various types of weaponry. The specified intermediate-range weapons could be used in such a strike." It is important to act responsibly on air raid alerts, starting this evening. Russian madness truly knows no bounds, so please protect your lives, use shelters." End quote. Moscow first used the Oreshnik missile against Ukraine in a major attack back in November 2024, marking the weapon's combat debut. At that time, Russia claimed the missile had been aimed at a Ukrainian military-industrial facility, framing the strike as a blow against Kyiv's war machine. A second reported use of Oreshnik came in January 2026, when missiles struck targets in the Lviv region in western Ukraine. Russian claims about the system include that its warheads can withstand temperatures comparable to those found on the surface of the Sun, adding to its fearsome image. The much-quoted 4,000 degrees Celsius figure for the Oreshnik missile's re-entry or impact temperature comes directly from President Volodymyr Putin himself. The latest attacks on Kyiv followed an earlier strike in which Ukraine reportedly hit a college dormitory in Luhansk between May the 21st and 22nd. Russia says at least 21 people were killed and 42 wounded in that attack, which Moscow denounced as a monstrous crime by Kyiv. Ukraine has denied Russia's accusations, while Putin publicly warned that there would be a stern response to the incident. Putin labeled the Luhansk strike a terrorist attack and ordered his military commanders to prepare suggestions for how to exact revenge.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.